Hey guys, welcome again to another video, and today we're making something a bit interesting. I'm just about to share with you my three most favorite omena recipes. Before we begin with our first recipe, let me show you first of all what we're going to make. So these ones here are the omena I'm talking about, also known as silver syprinids, and some people also call them sardines, though I feel there's a difference. I think they're silver syprinids, but you can do your research. There's just a bit difference between the two. First things first, we are going to begin by sorting our omena to remove all the shells and the dirt. This is what we have from just a small portion, so this is how much important sorting is. Next, we are going to wash the omena, and this is the first recipe. We're going to soak the omena in hot water. It was a crooked little smile that caught my eye. I'll also add a little bit of vinegar because omenas are very dirty, and then I'll set that aside to soak for about 20 minutes. Leave my side, but she left me here alone. 20 minutes are over, and as you can see, the water is very dirty. I'll just drain the water and then rinse my omena again 3 to 4 more times. Omena has a lot of sand, and so you need to wash it as you leave the water down so that it can be left with all the sand. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go? I'm moving to the next step, and that is to marinate these before deep frying. So I'm going to marinate them using salt and lemon. Once we're done with that, I'm going to mix that well and then let it sit for about 20 minutes to dry a bit. And then after that, we are going to begin deep frying. Whoa. Why did she go? Whoa. I'll deep fry these until golden and also a bit crunchy, and then I'll just remove them from the oil. This is the same exact process that you should do when you buy your omena, so that you can keep them fresh for long, and also so that you can avoid that bad smell in the house. Say something that will make my day. The deep frying part is over, and now we are moving to the last part of the recipe, which is to make the stew. But before we do that, I'm going to store some because I made too much of this. And yeah, I told you this is the same way you can store your omena. So I'm going to set these ones in the fridge before we continue with our first recipe. You can store these on your countertop or on your drawers, but for me, I'll keep mine in the fridge because I don't want them to attract cockroaches. Oh, why did she go? Oh. And this is now what you're left with to cook. Today I'm using my induction cooker to cook everything because I'm just about to run out of gas. Yeah, so I'm going to use this to fry and to cook even ugali and everything. In case you need to know where I got it, I got that from Hawk254 on Instagram. It was a crooked little smile that caught my eye. Time went by and it was her and I. She promised me to never leave my side, but she left me. I began by heating my oil, and now I'm going to add some onion. You can use either white or red. I still check my phone 'cause I can't move on. Whoa. Why did she go? I'll let that cook a bit, and then I'll add 3 cloves of garlic. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go? After the garlic, I'm going to add some green onions. I like adding green onions to add a bit of flavor. You can also add some leeks. After cooking that a bit, I'll blend my tomatoes and then add two. And in this first recipe, I'm only going to use 2 medium-sized tomatoes as opposed to the next recipe where I'll use 5 to 6 tomatoes. That she'd be the one. Whoa. Just tell me, why did she go? Say something that will make my day. 'Cause these memories of her won't go away. They're haunting me so I can't sleep. I'll add the blended tomatoes and then I'll stir that a bit. I'll mix it well and then cover to simmer for like 3 minutes. Alone. Now my bed feels just like cobblestone. Oh, why did she go? Oh. I'll now add in my spices. I'll begin with paprika and then fish masala. That's what I'm using today. And then I'll add in some chopped chilies, some salt, and then I'll add 2 pieces of seasoning cubes. I'm using Rico cubes. I met her back in 2005. It was a crooked little smile that caught my eye. Time went by and it was her and I. She promised me. I'll also add just a 1/4 cup of water to make my omena a bit soft. I want it to simmer just a bit, and then I'll also add some coriander. It's dumb, I still check my phone 'cause I can't move on. Whoa. Why did she go? Whoa. Was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I denied? I'll add in my omena, mix it well, and then cover and let it simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. My omena is ready. I'll just garnish it with some coriander and it's ready to serve. You can serve these with ugali and any vegetable of your choice. Today I'm serving mine with some avocados. And now let's move to recipe number 2. On this second recipe, I'll be required to boil my omena well, and before I do that, I'm going to wash my omena thoroughly with hot water again so that I can remove the first dirt. And then after that, I'll just add it in the cooking pot, add in some water and some salt, and then I'll cover it and let it boil. I'm going to leave it to cook slowly on this traditional stove, also known as jiko koa, and then we'll come back and check it after 5 hours. It's almost 5 hours already, and I just want all this charcoal to burn down. And once it's finished, we are going to take this out. This is how it looks currently. I added water once and it's almost drying. And finally, this is what we have. Our omena is well cooked, and so we'll just go ahead and wash it to remove that water. Some will cook it with this water, but for me, I like pouring it out, and then I rinse my omena well, and then after that, we move to making our stew. Yeah, girl, you know I miss. I'll begin making the stew, and this is very simple. I'll write everything on the screen for you.
Slide talking, girl, you're walking circles through my mind. And it seems like every day just gets better when you're mine. Bring you love now and forever. For my hurt, you are the cure. Like a spring, you keep me healthy with a substance that is pure. And I said, darling, I'm feeling rich although I'm poor. I said, darling,
I'm blending my tomatoes, and this time I'm blending it with some chili inside. And for this, you can choose either to blend or not to blend your tomatoes. Even with the first recipe also, it's not necessary. If you use chopped tomatoes only, it will also bring another beautiful taste. So I strongly agree with both. Another secret I learned for this particular recipe, the more tomatoes you use, the better. So, like for me today, I've used like I think 6 tomatoes, and the soup is very, very thick and nice.
and I said, darling, oh darling, you are all I want for sure. All I want for sure. Darling, in your arms I feel secure. I feel secure. Darling, feeling rich although I'm poor. I said,
Next, I'm going to add some tomato paste. This helps thicken the soup in case you don't have enough tomatoes. But if you have enough tomatoes like me, it's not necessary. And then after that, I'm going to add some salt, again fish masala, and then turmeric for the color. And then after that, I'll add some seasoning cubes, which is Royco cubes. And then I'll mix that well.
you know I miss you, baby.
I'll then add in some coriander, and then I'll add in some capsicums, also known as hoho and dania. And then after that, I'll add my omena, and then I'll mix that well and then cover. I want my omena to cook well in this so that it can suck all the spices from this stew. That will generally elevate the taste. Lastly, I'm going to add in some milk. You can add in cow milk or coconut milk, or also you can add some blended groundnuts. And I promise you, these will taste different.
I find like a sweet mountain breeze and a fragment of my mind. I said, darling,
I'll simmer that for around 2 to 3 minutes, and my omena is ready. And now we'll just go ahead and serve.
darling,
I'll serve these with some ugali and kovo, and that slapped. We are moving to our last recipe, which is very, very simple. This happens to be my favorite recipe, followed by the second one, and then the first recipe is my least favorite. For this recipe, I'm only using some cooking oil and some onions. The more the onions, the better. I'll cook that down just a bit, and then after that, I'm going to add my omena, and then I'll add some salt, and that's it. And the omena that I'm going to add here is already deep fried, but not as crunchy as the first one. I just want it a little bit crunchy, not as, even this one is past what I wanted. But if you need this to turn out well, you just need to deep fry it just a little bit, and then you remove it from the oil before it turns extremely crunchy. After that, you'll come and add it to your fried onions, and this is ready. I'll serve these with ugali only because I feel those onions are many and they're really acting as my vegetables for the day, so I'll just take it that way. I'm done, guys, and I'm now leaving. Thank you so much, guys. I highly appreciate you all for supporting me and for watching my videos. Be blessed abundantly, and bye. See you in my next one.